Okay, they've done it. Manchester City, there you go. That was their journey under Pep Guardiola and beyond. Let's speak to some of their fans, shall we? 03717 22 3344. John's given us a call this morning. John, hello.
Good morning, John.
Hi, John.
Good morning, lads and lasses. How are we?
Very well.
What excellent, John. How about you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, you know. I kicked every ball, I headed every ball. I even cleared that one off the line with Rubie. So let me just get to the point, right? That was our worst performance of the season, but the best result, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the millstone that was round everybody's neck, and the one that they would beat, the stick they were beating us with. So each of our players, like Rudiger, always starts at 8 out of 10. If he hadn't scored that magnificent winner, it'd have been about 6 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Same with Gundog. The weight of expectation was immense. And them lads now have shook that off. They're free of the shackles. Watch us rock and roll now. I mean, I hope they can secure the likes of Gundogan for another couple of seasons and re-sign. Bernardo was linked with a move away. I hope they can keep hold of these players because they're just absolutely magnificent footballers, as you've all witnessed yourself. Now, the noisy neighbours now have become the landlords, and we've evicted them, the Trafford Red Sox, right? And let's just get this point cleared up here and now. Who is the better treble? Ours by a country mile. We represented the English Premier League. We went in as champions. They went in as first losers. There you go. Nails the conversation straight away. Oh. We represented as champions. They didn't. Therefore, David Beckham and your ilk, you wouldn't even be fit to lace the boots of these players that we've got playing for us nowadays. You won't be fit enough. You won't be quick enough. You won't be tactically astute enough to play in the Pep Guardiola team. End of errand. And let's go for the managers here. So Pep, Fergie, you cannot compare them over the longevity of Fergie. So let's go for the first 7 years. Yeah, that's the only thing you can compare against. Now, they've both spent money. Fergie broke the transfer record more than what Pep has. Let's just settle that one. So it's always been about money. Never been any different. So let's go for Pep's first 7 years. The Formidables, the Centurions, the treble winners. Compare Fergie's first 7 years on what he won to what Pep's won. Nailed that one as well, guys. And Pep has also reinvented the way football's been played.
John, stay there for a second. That is John. Obviously, he supports Man City, in case you didn't know. Ronnie supports Manchester United. So why don't we bring Ronnie into this conversation? Ronnie, there's a lot of things that John was just saying there. He's really backing himself. He's taking down the managers. He's taking down your players. What do you think?
Well, to be fair, the Man City had a week to prepare for the Champions League final. United had 4 days. So it just goes to show that a week's rest or a week's, knocking the ball about and having your feet up, that when United did it, we had the final on the Saturday, the FA Cup, and then we went on to the Champions League final on the Wednesday night against Bayern Munich. So you can't compare the two, because United are better because we did it a lot sooner than the Cities did.
Ronnie, he thinks that Pep's better than Fergie.
Nah, never. Pep came with the team already sorted. He had the players already there. He brought in a couple of players that helped him. But Fergie came in when basically United were at the bottom, and he built them up from the ground up.
What do you think, John? Has he got a point?
What part of Manchester is that accent from?
Harsh.
Sounds like West Midlands to me. I didn't know Manchester had expanded 100 miles to the south.
Hey, John, fans can come from absolutely anywhere, but keeping it just on the point that he's saying.
What I'm saying is, you can't compare Pep for 25 years. He's not going to be there 25 years. Take the first 7 years for Fergie, for Pep. Take the first 7 years. Compare the trophies. Compare the points tallies that Pep's put up. Compare the reinvention of football that Pep's introduced. Compare the Centurions.
Right, let's bring the experts in then. Go on, Ali.
The Formidables. The only thing we didn't win that year, the Formidables didn't win that year, was the boat race. And Aintree, because we didn't enter it. Yeah? So Pep has reinvented football. We're not bitter. We're just better. So they used to call us the bitter blues, the noisy neighbours. Don't hear that anymore.
Go on, Ali.
Right, well, first thing you've got to say is you can't compare the teams in terms of playing against each other because the game has changed. I said to you last week, Dino's backed up today, completely different game. You could take it a step, go back to the 80s. Graeme Souness' team would arguably, if the game was played in the 80s, Graham's team would have battered both sides because of the physicality that was allowed then, right? That's just an argument. And the Man United 90s team, excellent guys like Roy Keane who could mix it. Nowadays it's changed, so that straight away makes it bordering on impossible to compare the teams. However, John makes some very good points, but where I would dig him up and say, how can you judge Sir Alex's first 7 years when he to go and effectively build a team? Manchester City, Guardiola has done amazing, and he has transformed to a certain degree the way the game is played, particularly at that level. However, there was a certain amount of his team there already, but he has brought in extremely wisely, and he spent an absolute fortune, by the way. Absolute fortune, as probably Manchester United have done in the past. Because unfortunately, I'll throw another one into the equation. I'm actually enjoying the Conference League and the Europa League probably more than I'm the Champions League now, because it's more real and it affects teams like West Ham, Brentford, Brighton, Rangers, Celtic. Because I reckon now there's only 6 rich teams that can win the Champions League. Whether we like it or not, there's probably only 6 rich teams that can win the Champions League. Now, that's great if you're one of the 6 teams, but it's a dominance and a monopoly to a certain degree that in my opinion, I wouldn't say it's ruining football, but it's making it slightly unfair. So West Ham winning, I probably get more joy out of watching West Ham win the Conference League than I have out a lot of European finals recently. That's where I'm in the matter. I know I've went off track a little bit, but between the question, which is the best side between Man United and indeed this Manchester City team, the fact of the matter is it's absolutely impossible because it's a different era and the game's played differently.
Well, I agree with you, Ali, and you know the saying that all managers used to say, let him know you're there?
Yes.
I mean, if Man City tried to play that football that they're playing now against Wimbledon, teams like Wimbledon and Sheffield United, where the manager's gone, right, let's just go straight through the backs of their legs, let them and spoil the game. Million fouls. So the rules have changed a little bit. So you can play the football he's trying to play, Guardiola, is unstoppable because you can't actually leave your foot in and stop it. So I don't know whether Man United's players would have adapted to this, but they're both brilliant teams. But the rules, the same size pitch, but the rules have changed.
Completely different. Just a quick one as well. Simon is a Villa fan. He says 2 achievements are uncomparable due to the difference in eras. But if I was a Manchester United supporter, I'd keep my powder dry because I'd be worried that City will go and do the same thing next season. Then there wouldn't even be a conversation up the Villa, he says.
Can I throw one into the equation?
Yeah.
I'll throw one into the equation right now. And I'll stand by this. The greatest achievement in a lot is a team that won the tournament twice and only won their own title once. And that's Notts Forest. There's one in the equation. Their achievement, Dino, in winning the European Cup / Champions League twice, Clough and Peter Taylor, is absolutely ridiculous.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.